Last time the Star Wars Chronicles mirrored princes. After the Overlord fight is finished, our heroes spend some time restoring themselves after their major injuries they received from the fight. During this time, Mikey began planning some sort of way to train these kids and the eventual return of Overload, who at the time was finding his new laboratory and working on a new plan. While this was happening, they managed to come across Cody and Terry once more, and they decided to work together to help train the kids. And while it may lead to various results, they eventually found a way to work as a team to get past their many exercises. With all this being said and done, Overload has now decided a new plan is to find this more power source to help them put them over top of the heroes. However, in order to do so, we need to build a robot in order to see where exactly they're at in their journey, which will lead us to where we're at now. Episode 7, Agent Catherine. At the start, we are taken back to Cosmic Castle, where Mikey was reading through a few papers which had complaints with the people on them. He seemed a little stressed as each stack seemed bigger than the last. Sierra was also there, giving her own thoughts after reading a few.
I counted at least 55 today. I would say that is a record, though not one to be proud of.
He puts in the last one while deeply breathing. And it seems about 75% of them came from some of the older civilians. Not surprising, yet he gave a grunt to read the last one again. Sierra comes over to look over for herself.
We knew this.
He gets up angered. Of course I knew this would happen. She was stunned by that response. He noticed how he acted and went back down to his seat in shame. I'm sorry. She quickly drops it.
Your mother did say we'll heal in time. Look at it this way. Most of the younger crowd is buying into what we're doing.
This didn't help him feel better as he rubbed his eyes. That's good, at least. He gets a good look at the nearby window. He grabs it in defeat. And it seems like we're fighting a losing battle. No matter how hard we try, they won't understand. After thinking, she had thoughts.
What if it's the fact that you're trying too hard?
He looks into some of the people conversing on the street. She comes to see that.
Don't misunderstand. I know just as much as you do, so I'm not blaming you for not seeing it. But what if that's really the case? Like you're so desperate to prove something.
He walks back to the throne while collecting his thoughts.
We can't force people to adjust. That's not our role as leaders.
He nods in agreement. After taking a deep breath, he heard a knock on the door. Come in. He opened to see someone in a weird outfit. He wore a yellow and white suit along with a black tie around his neck. Along that was a short blonde hair and a beard covering his face. He stood proudly after making a shower-shaped salute. Commander Calvin Bates, reporting in, sir. Michael, just call me Michael. He nods as they face each other. To what do I owe this visit? I'm the agent you requested, the one tasked to defend your son on Earth. I said to keep an eye on him, but whatever. Just one, right? He nods again. Good, we don't want the Dark Warriors having any funny ideas. As you stated previously, don't worry, she's ready for the job. Good. Who exactly did you send? He laughs pridefully as the scene ends there. With that finished, we go back to the weird house in Great Britain, for it was Eileen's, whose parents let the gang stay there for a time being. As the new day has come, all the kids took their time eating lunch. Thanks again for having us over, Miss Donovan. Her mom comes over while picking up some of the plates at the table.
Aren't you a polite boy? Well, if you're fighting alongside my daughter, it's probably best that you keep close in case that Overload guy comes knocking.
He gave a smile as Edric kept his laughter to himself. Dragnon still noticed. What's so funny? He crossed his arms and leaned back in the chair. I know what you're doing. Getting on our good side early on. Dragnon gave back his own smug look. Oh, please. I'm nowhere near as bad as you are. As staring down, they both laughed again. Eileen just sat on the other side confused.
I don't know what's weird. The fact I live under the same roof as these two, or the fact that they love ripping into each other.
A knock came on the door. Edric gets up with a smile. I'll get that. Better let the one who put the nail in the coffin if we know what's best. They both rolled their eyes. He goes over to the door eagerly with his ability ready. Didn't think it would be this soon, but if you're that desperate for them round two. He opens it to give a strike, yet he stops himself after seeing who it is. On the other side was a taller woman with a blonde hair and a ponytail. She had a built physique along with a white jumpsuit, gray gloves and boots, and a red scarf around her neck. She salutes with a star-shaped symbol with glee.
Ready for your protection, Prince Edric? I'm Catherine Max, Star Warrior rank agent to your rescue.
She finished with pride. He was stunned to see her stand like that. Dragonon and Eileen came over to see what was happening. Dude, you're gonna let bugs in. Catherine took notice of the two standing there as well.
You must be young Dragonel and Eileen. Right. They did mention you as well. Pleasure to meet you both.
She wanted us closer to look deeper in the house.
No one else is in there, right? Just my mom. Who is she?
Edward took a deep sigh of annoyance as he figured out what happened. She's part of that Star Warrior army. What platoon are you in?
Platoon 164. Squad A, sire.
You can call me Edric. I assume my dad sent you?
His orders, sire. I mean, Edric.
She smiles with glee. Of course he's this paranoid. Can't do the job yourself, so you sent one of your underlings. He turns around while walking back in. Make yourself at home. Eileen stopped him after hearing that.
Hold on. It's already enough with you two here.
She felt Catherine behind her, comforting.
If you wish for us to live somewhere else, I can think of a place in 5 seconds.
Oh, really? What do you know about Earth? She smiled pridefully once more.
Not a thing.
She shakes his head in disapproval. Turning back to Eileen, he showed her his annoyance. I don't like it either, but I'm not gonna bother fighting it. She can stay. It's not her fault she was tasked with this. Though conflicted, she reluctantly does so with Catherine bringing in some bags of her own. Eileen's mother came over to see what's happening.
My, another guest.
Catherine bows respectfully as they face each other.
If it isn't too much to ask, I'm only here to do my job to the best of my ability. I promise to be respectful and helpful in every way I can. I see. Well, we always do have a few spare bedrooms. Mom!
Eileen goes over flabbergasted.
What? She's here to help, isn't she? Might as well do what I can to help too. Gotta make sure my daughter and her friends are safe.
Catherine held out her hand pridefully.
You can count on me. I was fully trained and prepared to tackle any situation.
With a smug smirk, she posed with pride.
And I don't mean to brag, but I'm damn good at what I do. Top rank agent of my squad, if you were wondering.
Oh, so you're a leader rank then. She shrugs with that same expression.
Told ya, I don't mean to brag.
Despite Eileen's skepticism, her mother was buying into all of it.
With such an accomplished person, I'll bet you be the perfect fit. Oh, this is wonderful.
Catherine picked up her bags.
As I said, my top priority is everyone else's safety. Now then, where did you say the spare bedroom was?
The scene cuts to Eileen sitting on the couch frustrated with Dragon watching some of the TV.
I should never suggest my place to stay. What was I thinking?
Dragon noticed her mumbling. It could be worse. It's not the entire Star Wars agency came to protect us. This didn't ease her at all. I, for one, welcome our new friend. The more hands on deck, the better. She shakes her head in disapproval. Hedra comes over soon, unpleased. Look at it this way. You ain't the only one who hates this. She raised her eyebrow after hearing that. That's when Catherine came over with 4 cups of a drink on a tray. She took off her uniform to show a purple tank top with black sweatpants.
Good news. I've managed to make coffee.
Eileen looks over unamused.
Coffee?
It's a Salvadian-style cup of coffee. It's only made with comic beans. Those things don't grow on Earth, though. She holds one right in his face.
I brought some of my own. Let me tell you, I can't go a day without at least 1 cup.
He takes it reluctantly, as does the others. The Dragon took it gratefully. I appreciate it, yet I can't say I ever had it. Catherine began gulping hers down as she grabbed a seat. Both he and Eileen stared at her weirdly. That's when she notices Edric carefully blowing on it.
So it's just like coffee?
He shrugged after taking a short sip. In a way, she looks back at her cup while thinking. Taking the sip, she expected it to taste horrible. Yet, to her surprise, it tasted rather sweet. In fact, she began gulping it like Catherine.
Wow, this is amazing! With a style like this, she might not be bad after all.
Hedda looked glad that she saw the 3 drinking some of theirs.
See, I knew you liked it. Think of this as my initiation to the group.
Dragonel took a breath of relief. Welcome indeed. I am curious, how are kind beans made? Oh, it's simple. Trees feed off the nutrients of a soil, particularly the lilac ones, which produce them. The beans are pretty much just decomposed to the point where they come out as the excrement. Both Eileen and Dragonel widened their eyes.
Wait, you're telling us that we're drinking
They
tree?
both put their cups aside while holding in their vomits.
Hey, it's not like that. It's more processed to the point where you can't even taste it. But whatever, not for everyone, I suppose.
Eileen coughs to let out some of the drink.
So, Catherine, how long do you plan to stay? My direct orders were to keep an eye on you until Overload's defeat. Whenever that is.
I don't suppose it told you anything about who Overload is. She shook her head, making her disappointed in the process. So much for doing a good job. That's when she gets up while dusting herself off a bit.
All the more reason to catch me up. Besides, I need to loosen up a bit. Making a trip from Sarvania to Earth really stiffens the joints.
She points at Edric.
Young Prince, would you kindly help me?
He sniggers a little bit. I thought it was your job to help me. We now go back to their backyard as the sun hits the very top of the sky. Catherine is back in her jumpsuit as she and Edric face makeshift targets in front of them. The others watch from behind. Maybe here's where she will shine. You never know. Her expertise, along with her training, might make her the strongest out of all of us. Eileen shrugged as she overheard Edric explain the situation. We're not sure what his ability is called, but we do know it somehow manipulates magnetism. I doubt you have any way to defeat that. After stretching, she faces the targets confidently.
I'm not sure either, yet that's not going to stop me from figuring it out. What?
She goes to her belt where two gun holsters were placed. She takes out what looks like two Glocks from them. Annoyed, he shook his head in denial. I'm sorry, did I forget to tell you that he manipulates magnetism, or did it just go through your head? With a wink, she holds out her two guns facing towards her feet.
Heard you loud and clear, and I wouldn't bother if I was shooting these things normally. However...
All of a sudden, small random blue circles appeared all around her. They formed diagonally from each other as they made a path to the target. Everyone looked in shock.
Thanks to my ability, I'm not.
She fires both of them to have the bullets ricochet off each one before it hits the target. The bullets became quicker and much stronger after each circle hit it. And once it hit the target, it obliterated completely. Privately, she turns to them with her hands on her hips.
Impressed? That's what you get with an ability like my own. Magnum.
We look back over to see that the bullet traveled through a few trees behind him as well. Catherine soon sees that as well while laughing nervously.
Sometimes I forget to not use many circles.
Putting her guns away, she faces Edric like nothing happened.
So, what should be our plan in defeating this enemy?
He faces her after coming back to reality. I don't know what to say. You said you were a top-rank agent, right?
What? Doubting my abilities? Don't blame you. You hardly know me.
Laughing again, Eileen and Dragna look over themselves.
My God, this changes everything.
Almost like we never have to worry about overload again. Turning to each other, they hug gratefully with the thought of safety coming upon them.
As I promised, safety will be my top priority. You no longer have to fear that overload son of a bitch. Or anyone else, for that matter.
She turns back to Edric with that same confidence.
That even goes for you, Edric.
He notices with a quick glance. Turning back to the house, he walks in conflict. Not bad. You should work out quite nicely. Dragna sees his confliction as he walks in. I'll admit, at least you picked a strong one. He walks in the feet. It was now night. Edric looked out the window of his spare bedroom as a moon glowed in the sky. He played with some pencils as he constantly shrank and grew it over and over again. Keeping his mind busy, he sits there thinking about Catherine and the situation he was in. That is until he heard a knock on his window. Looking over while putting the pencil away, he sees Dragona stare at him as he uses his wings to float. He opens the window and let him in. Don't you have your own spare bedroom? Dragona comes in while closing the window again. Sometimes I fly around and keep the blood flowing through my wings. Gotta make sure I don't go numb. Right, you did mention that. Both sat in the bed to rest. Though they sat quietly, it wasn't too long before Dragona broke the silence. You spent the time once at Castleton. Remember that place? Edric snickered at that memory. That place was dreadful. Meant to be a vacation spot for everyone to go to, yet it ended up being a boring slog of a place. Those goddamn tours. I know. It felt like it never ended. Just one douche after another. You and I tried to make the best situation. But there's always much we can do. He looks in with no returning thoughts. No, those were the time that Stowaway Agency was formed. Though my dad spoke against it, they insisted on coming to protect us. Another reason I thought it was boring. They both sighed in annoyance. Yeah, and they always looked at us every 5 seconds. Made sense at the time. We were both too young to do much of anything. However, he sees Edric look back at the window. You still see it as a way for your father to forget about you. And the problem is I can't blame him. That's what sickens me. As they were talking, Catherine was walking through the halls in her casual attire. She overhears them talking to the door. He has all his important work to do, at the same time he needs to look at me. So it feels like sending these younger agents to protect me because he can't, or how I see it, do his job for him. Catherine widened his eyes after hearing that. Well, that might be true. Think of it like this. You know he has to make a choice in something, and he made the wrong choice. We don't know that. Look at her. She's strong as hell. Edric turned back to him annoyed. I know what I saw back there, but strength or protection was never my issue. I just wanted him to be here for once. Silence came upon them again. As they looked at each other, Catherine waited for the next response. That's all I ever wanted from him. I know he cares. I know he wants to look after me, but that's not enough. I want him to be there for me for once. And not just some half-ass attempt, like a genuine be there for me. Yet all he could ever do was send one of his cronies down. Don't get me wrong, she seems nice, but she isn't him. Catherine took that into her thoughts as she backed away from the door. After thinking a bit, she nodded with a serious expression when walking away. Dragonel looked back at him with his own conflicted thoughts before punching his arm playfully. Even if he wasn't there, you said it yourself. You're doing fine. He shrugs that thought. Besides, it's not her fault. I know that. I even said that earlier. But you gotta mean it. Come on, bro. You know I'm right. Edgar looks back at him before letting some of his frustrations go. Just like you did that last jabbing. They both laughed before doing their handshake. He had a responsibility, and though he didn't manage it properly, just gives me more reason to one-up him when the time comes. See? That's the attitude you need. And just like with that vacation, we're gonna make the most of it. Bringing back his smug look, Edric points to him playfully once more. Who do you mean, we? Are you serious? Laughing some more, they ventured back again as the night continued to shuffle on. Now it's morning with some birds chirping for a new day. The sun was barely up. Also, the day hadn't even started. That is, except for Eileen, who was peacefully sleeping in her bed. That was before she heard a noise of someone breathing loudly, causing her to wake up prematurely. With a yawn, she gets up from her bed in a worn-out t-shirt and black shorts along with messy hair as the breathing came louder. She goes to the window, half asleep, to see Catherine in her backyard doing some form of workout. Looking at her confused, she sees her doing a lot of push-ups quickly. This caused her to slowly make her way to the backyard, where she opened the door to see Catherine continue doing more push-ups in the process. She notices the sleepy Eileen standing there through the door while in motion.
What the hell are you doing?
She yawns quickly after.
Don't mind me. Just doing some morning workouts.
Eileen looks back inside her clock, which read 5:30.
Shouldn't you be sleeping? Rest is important, you know.
Catherine finishes her last push-up before taking a breather.
I got my 7 hours. I'm fine. In fact, I just woke up before you did. These routines help keep my body in shape for any battle.
She was before doing some jogs in place. Eileen was still confused while watching.
You do this every day? Ever since I was drafted. It makes you feel better. If it makes you feel better, it's something every agent does. Especially with an ability like my own.
She picks up the pace with her jogging.
My ability is powerful, yes, but it doesn't enhance my physical attributes. Not naturally, anyway. So to overcome that, I gotta build muscle to even it up along my physique.
She then stops for another breather.
But yes, I do admit, it does get really tiring.
She smiles at Eileen and gets some semblance of an idea.
I would imagine I'm pretty tired myself. I'm not even doing these intense workouts.
As they laugh, Catherine takes a seat on the grass. Patting beside her, she invites Eileen to sit there. Reluctantly, she does so as they see the sun rise slowly.
I'll tell you one thing. Your planet definitely has a better sunrise. Ours you can barely tell it's day. So I heard.
She thinks for a moment while gripping the grass.
It's just so weird, though, that you're here.
Catherine looks at her confused.
I thought the boys were more than enough, yet I was never really into the idea of another person joining.
Catherine pats her shoulder gently with a smile.
If it helps you, think of me as your older cousin.
She goes with hearing that. This raises a few questions inside her.
I don't mean to sound mean, but you seem way too invested into this whole agency thing. Now, I have no clue what goes on up there, but you seem to have bought into it.
Catherine nods with that thought.
Truth be told, I'm not as bought in as you think I am. I get by my first impression. It might seem that way, but it's not like that.
Shots are hearing footsteps by the door. I look over to see Edric, who was also trying to wake up, noticing the two staying out there. Didn't mean to interrupt, just wondering what all that noise was. Catherine gets up to see him.
Well, good morning regardless.
Didn't even respond, just walks back in like nothing happened.
Anyway, I guess it's time for some breakfast. I'll make it. My mom did say I made some of the finest pancakes on this side of the galaxy. Something I'm sure you're proud of.
Now back inside, do just that.
Yet you did say it wasn't like that. What do you mean? Why is every person I come across in this past month so secretive?
It was a little later in the morning. The kids sat at the table as Catherine brought over some pancakes. Ragnar was still disappointed to see that. I thought you said we were having bacon this morning. She sits beside him.
While protein is important, and these pancakes are seemingly too fatty, I think for our formation as a group, that I would make something special for the occasion. What do you think, Edric?
He began cutting some of it to eat. I suppose. Not much of an occasion, but I can at least do this. He takes one of his and slices it across his bro's face. Dragano, in response, took his and they followed each other. Eileen looked at them annoyed with her while eating hers.
Lomasis.
She didn't see Catherine join in with her own pancake. Did she be having fun, which left Eileen with conflicted thoughts? After thinking about it, she shrugs before joining the fun. A little later, they were back in the living room as Edric and Dragano played some sort of video game on their television. It was a fighting game where both sides were pretty even in their attack. I see you have improved since the last time we did this. With a confident noise, Edric pulled out a move that made Dragano's character lose a lot of health. He was shocked to see that. Fighting game's not my forte, yet even I have mastered a thing or two. Just watch. Dragano managed to catch up, yet no set was budging whatsoever. Catherine soon comes over to check on them.
Hey guys, what you doing?
After asking, the game ends with both of them tying. What? A tie? They didn't know as Catherine looked at the screen.
So these are the video games I heard about. Some of the returnees from Earth brought these over with them.
Yeah, I played a few of my RPGs myself. This guy, on the other hand, was all about these fighting games. And the best there is. Edric punches his arm. Says the man who titled a novice. Dragano punched back. Yeah, you still never beat me. She takes intrigue to the game themselves.
Mind if I join?
Both look at her while shrugging. Sure, there should be a third controller in the drawer. Right, Eileen? Eileen comes over with a bowl of something, set on the couch behind them.
Yeah, but don't go breaking it. Those things cost a fortune. In fact,
Puts the bowl down and go over and grab 2 more controllers for herself.
I think I should set it up. Not that I don't trust you, but you don't seem to be the type of person who has done this before.
Aaron takes a look at them weirdly. Okay, time to show these gals make me the king of sparring buds. They all shook their heads playfully. As the others got in, each person said their character quickly, except for Catherine, who would look at the controller even more confused. They all noticed.
Here, let me...
Catherine stopped her.
No, I can figure it out.
After pushing the analog stick, she manages to learn how to pick a character. Edric and Dragano whispered to each other. I think we should take it easy. It's clearly her first time. Agreed. Which saddens me, but it is what it is. The game starts as each character launches to the stage easily. Watch out, Eileen. You're about to see the super tryhard with all this sweating. Tryhard? Just because I'm good at a game doesn't mean I'm a tryhard.
I'll be fine. I played a few rounds of this game myself. Watch as I...
She noticed that Dragano has already taken one of her lives. Though she was shaken, Edric acted routinely. Told you so. He didn't see Catherine struggling to do anything with her character. He moves to meet her. Sure you don't want anyone to help you?
I can do it. If I can't manage to learn this, then how would I ever stand a chance against Overload?
Not the mindset to have, but whatever. Here. He shows her some of the basic moves as Dragano and Eileen continue to go at it with each other. She managed to knock out a few lines at Dragano as she did the same. Eventually they ended up killing each other, leading to both of their game overs. Are you serious? That was so cheap.
Cheap? You'll want to talk with that constant spamming.
Dragano looks back at her annoyed. After they're done, you and me, 1v1. Eileen scoffed for that challenge.
Yawn.
They then look over to see Edric and Catherine slowly chip away at each other.
Okay, I think I'm getting the hang of this.
See? Not that hard. You're getting there. She managed to not land an attack that sent him off stage. Oh. Look, the others laugh hysterically after seeing that. No kidding, you're a novice. Not the first time we'll kill you. This annoyed him, causing him a under his breath. Fine, if that's how it's going to be. He turned up his game and effortlessly defeated Catherine, who was still learning some of the ropes. The game ends as Edric became the winner. There, I won.
Yeah, but we were only joking. You didn't have to go that hard.
That didn't stop Catherine from laughing happily.
It seems I got a lot of catching up to do. It was fun, though.
Yeah, they soon laugh along with her before going another round. Time passes, both Dragno and Eileen continue to fight each other over and over again at the end. Each one ended a tie, and they wanted to keep going until there was a definitive winner. Edric and Catherine watched as they saw the puzzle together. My mom and I used to solve lobbies back then. It was a little hobby since she never got into video games. I do it myself from time to time. Catherine seems to be just as invested.
She picked a good hobby. These things are amazing time sink. Can't tell you how many I've solved in my youth.
This caused her to reminisce. What are your parents like? She shrugged after putting a piece in the middle.
They're alright. Took care and raised me for my entire childhood. It did break their heart to find out I got drafted. But at that point, what more can you do?
Edric nods that the puzzle was almost finished. Yeah, I suppose it sounds accurate. One more piece was needed, and Edric was about to put the last one in. He was stopped by Catherine, who had a lingering thought in her mind.
Listen, Edric. I know you want to spend time with your father. In a perfect universe, I would rather have him than me. But here's the thing. He's a busy man, and I never intended to flat out do this job for him. Besides, you and I both know I can never be him. That's not what I'm here for. At the same time, I do want to be friends with you guys, even if it may seem like that I'm just here for mission's sake. With that in mind, would you allow me to be the friend you need at this time?
Edric thinks it over after understanding each word she said. I know what he's going through, which means he's probably heard me last night. Here's the thing, I always had moments with my mom or my best friend. He looks back at the era playing video games. Because he has a cane to fix, I had to be the short line to cut in his work. Sometimes I think I'm too greedy asking for this time. Catherine gives him a sorrowful look. At the same time, I'll put this out here now. I don't mind your company. In fact, you made it easier for me with your attitude.
Mom always said to be considerate to everyone I know.
My mom's the same thing too. He laughed as the elder found peace. Though you took that to heart, regardless, I will gladly have you as my friend in need during these trying times. With that, she smiles and letting go of his hand. She puts the found piece down, dragging no tears in the background. That's right, the king strikes again. I knew after a few rounds you would eventually crumble. No one can beat the king. He celebrates gallantly with Eileen shaking her head in disapproval.
Relax, you barely beat me. If I pulled off that spin move, you wouldn't be celebrating.
He gets to her face eagerly. Oh yeah? Well, you didn't, so cry some more, loser. They laugh cheerfully as the other two come more eagerly. Alright, you had your fun, it's our turn now. He gives Catherine a confident nod.
Yeah, and this time I think I got a hang on the controls. Let's get to it.
Fine, if you want to lose to the king that badly. Getting back into it, they kept playing games as the sun went down again. Finally, they go back to Orvalo and Dark down to clear our lab. Orvalo tied the place, and he just put the finishing touches to it. He looks around surprisingly. George, you might have changed the way of technology in your prime, but damn it, I would be lying if I didn't say it's one of my finest works. Dartnell finishes explaining each part of the place. Not a single spot missed. Not bad. You put the magbots in with your level of production. Of course, while robots are efficient, us organic life forms have the job done when it matters most. Speaking of which, he turns to his cell with banging noise coming from the inside. Seems the updates have finished uploading. Soon it'll be clear for takeoff. They both felt the shockwave of each hit. Gotta ask, did you really have to make them so heavy? Orvalo shrugged her pride once more. They say the heavier the material, the more effort you have to place into it. Don't forget what its purpose is, to tell us where the kids are in their quest. After all, they could be leagues ahead of us now because they fear us. So it's optimal to put this kind of machine in the battlefield in order to learn. You get me? Darknut looks at the cell skeptical. I suppose.